Welcome to Mindcast, the podcast that explores the fascinating frontiers of human knowledge and technological evolution. I'm your host, Will, and today we're diving into one of the most profound shifts in how we access information, a transformation happening right before our eyes. For decades, we've all been masters of the keyword search, typing in queries and sifting through links. But get ready, because that era is rapidly evolving. We're at what I like to call a conversational inflection point, moving into an exciting new world of AI-driven discovery. Today, we'll chart this incredible journey and uncover what this means for our digital lives. So let's explore this revolution together. Imagine, if you will, the early 1990s internet. It was less like the superhighway we know today and more like a vast, sprawling library with no card catalog, no Dewey Decimal System, and certainly no librarian to guide you. Information was out there, but finding it, that was a monumental task. This chaotic Wild West needed taming, and it was here that the very first search engines stepped onto the scene. One of the true pioneers was AltaVista, launched in 1995. This wasn't just another small directory, it was a technological marvel that represented a quantum leap. AltaVista's brilliance was in its ability to create the web's first truly searchable, full-text database. Its Scooter web crawler was incredibly fast, and its indexer was super efficient, allowing it to store virtually every word of every HTML page it found. This was about brute force computing power tackling the problem of sheer scale, making previously unmanageable parts of the web findable. It was revolutionary, but it still left the user to do most of the heavy lifting.
Then came a new player from Stanford University, Google. While AltaVista focused on indexing everything, Larry Page and Sergey Brin had a different, more profound idea with their PageRank algorithm. They realized that not all web pages were created equal. PageRank looked at the web as a network, where links from one page to another were like votes of support. Crucially, a vote from a highly important page counted for more. This recursive system created a measure of authority, shifting the focus from simply finding words on a page to understanding the relevance and importance of that page. It was a game changer, fundamentally reshaping how we thought about search and paving the way for the incredible advancements we see today.
So, with PageRank, search engines became incredibly powerful tools, but they still placed a huge burden squarely on us, the users. Think about your own experience with traditional search. It wasn't just typing in a few words, it was a multi-step cognitive workout. You had to formulate your query, translating a complex need into concise keywords, often refining it. Then came scanning those iconic 10 blue links on the search engine results page, rapidly judging titles and snippets. Once on a page, you'd orient yourself, find specific information, and vet the source's credibility. For non-trivial questions, you'd often open multiple tabs, read several articles, and then mentally synthesize disparate information into a coherent answer. The search engine gave you the ingredients. You had to cook the meal. This query, scan, synthesize workflow, while revolutionary, highlighted a significant user burden. But something pivotal was changing under the hood. Early engines matched strings of text, not the meaning behind them, the things. A search for apple could mean fruit or the company. To get smarter, search evolved towards semantic understanding, integrating natural language processing. This led to a monumental leap in 2012 with Google's Knowledge Graph. Suddenly, it was a structured database of entities and their relationships. Ask, "What is the capital of France?" and instead of links, Google could query its graph and give a direct answer. This was the first major step towards an answer engine, subtly conditioning us to expect more than just links, and priming us for today's AI-synthesized answers. This subtle psychological shift, cultivated over a decade, created the perfect runway for what we're experiencing right now, the age of AI synthesis and dialogue. At the heart of this transformation are large language models, or LLMs, like Google's Gemini. These are colossal neural networks, trained on trillions of words from the internet and digitized books. This immense training allows them to grasp the nuances of human language, letting them understand our prompts, summarize complex topics, and generate fluent, coherent text that feels incredibly natural. They're built for fluency, but their core challenge, as we'll explore, is often factuality. To overcome this, modern conversational search engines use a brilliant architecture called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. Here's how it works. When you ask a question, the system doesn't just send it straight to the LLM. First, it acts like a super smart search engine, using advanced semantic techniques to find highly relevant information from trusted sources. Think a curated index of the web. This retrieved, factual information is then combined with your original question, creating an enhanced prompt. Only then is this augmented prompt sent to the LLM, which is now instructed to generate its answer specifically based on the provided context. This process grounds the LLM's response in real data, dramatically boosting accuracy and cutting down on those potential AI hallucinations. This fundamental shift means the search index and those familiar 10 blue links are no longer the final product delivered to you. Instead, they've become an intermediate tool, a backstage component used to feed and ground the AI. The real star of the show is the final, synthesized text generated by the model. And this enables a radically different user experience, one that's conversational, contextual, and collaborative. You're no longer confined to rigid keywords. You can ask complex, nuanced questions in full sentences, just like talking to a human expert. The biggest immediate benefit? You get a direct, synthesized answer. No more sifting through a list of links, opening multiple tabs, and trying to piece together information yourself. For something like, how can I improve my quality of sleep? You get a clear, actionable summary, saving you huge amounts of time and mental effort. Plus, the system remembers your previous questions, allowing for fluid follow-up inquiries. This makes search a true exploration, where each answer becomes a stepping stone to deeper understanding, transforming you from a lonely navigator to a partner working alongside AI to build knowledge. Now, this new paradigm brings incredible promise. It makes information dramatically more consumable. Think about it. You get direct, summarized answers in natural language, removing all that friction from the old search workflow. This boosts efficiency and accessibility, especially for those who might not know the exact jargon or are trying to understand complex topics. You can ask questions in your own words and get clear, understandable explanations. And it excels at handling complexity. Imagine trying to research something like, compare the pros and cons of solar versus wind power for a residential home in the northeastern United States, considering installation costs, long-term maintenance, and energy output during winter months. That would be a massive traditional search project. But a conversational system can parse that complex request, pull information from diverse sources, economics, engineering, climate data, and then synthesize it into one structured comparative answer. This level of comprehensive understanding, drawing from dozens or even hundreds of sources to give you a cohesive narrative, is truly remarkable. It's a game changer for learning and decision-making.
But here's where we hit the critical challenge. The single greatest hurdle for this conversational AI paradigm is something called hallucinations. This term refers to instances where the AI generates outputs that sound incredibly plausible and confident, but are actually factually incorrect, misleading, or even entirely fabricated. Unlike a traditional search engine that might give you a bad link, which you can usually spot and ignore, a conversational AI can confidently present falsehoods with the same authoritative tone as facts. This is a far more insidious and potentially dangerous type of error. And for a non-expert, it can be really hard to detect.
The real-world consequences are already showing up, leading to a direct loss of customer trust and significant brand damage. There have even been legal and financial liabilities. For example, Air Canada was held legally responsible for misinformation its support chatbot provided about a bereavement fare policy. In another case, a chatbot for New York City gave citizens advice that was not only incorrect, but in some cases actually unlawful. These examples really underscore the high stakes involved. So, how do we build trust in a world where AI can sometimes make things up? It requires a multi-pronged strategy. First, developers need to ensure the AI's knowledge base is constantly updated and curated with high-quality, verified data. Second, the retrieval augmented generation, or RAG system, needs to be incredibly robust. If it fails to find solid, factual documents to ground the LLM, the model might just improvise, increasing the risk of hallucination. We also need clever prompt engineering to guide the AI and constrain its creativity, ensuring it stays within factual bounds.
And crucially, there must be transparency and oversight. That means providing clear source attribution so you, the user, can easily verify the information. For high-stakes interactions, we need a human-in-the-loop workflow, where an expert reviews sensitive or low-confidence AI responses before they reach you. Building this new framework of trust is absolutely essential for the long-term success of this powerful technology.
This shift to conversational AI also has monumental implications for the entire digital information ecosystem. For decades, the Internet's content economy has operated on a simple exchange. Search engines send traffic, and publishers make money from that traffic, usually through advertising. The click has been the fundamental currency. But when an AI gives you a direct, synthesized answer, your need to click through to a website pretty much disappears. This is what we call the zero-click world. This poses an existential threat to countless online publishers. If the clicks vanish, so does the advertising revenue that funds the creation of the very content these AI systems rely on. It's a paradox. So content strategy has to undergo a seismic shift. The goal is no longer just to rank high in a list of links, but to have your content selected, parsed, and trusted by the AI model as an authoritative source for its synthesized answers. This new discipline is what we call AI inclusion optimization.
For users, this means cultivating a habit of critical engagement. Treat AI-generated answers as a powerful starting point, but always verify, especially for important decisions. Understand that these systems can make mistakes and learn to ask clarifying questions to get more nuanced results. For businesses and content creators, it's about a dual strategy. Don't abandon traditional SEO yet, but absolutely invest in preparing for this zero-click world. This means conducting a content audit, implementing robust structured data like schema.org markup, and becoming the definitive source of truth and expertise in your niche. You need to demonstrate EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness so that AI models will reliably rely on your content.
And for technology developers, the responsibility is huge. They must continue to advance retrieval-augmented generation to reduce hallucinations, prioritize clear source transparency for all generated information, and develop ways for the AI to communicate its own confidence level. Honesty is crucial for building user trust. So, our journey from the simple keyword-driven search of AltaVista to the nuanced conversational synthesis of Gemini truly marks a monumental shift in how we interact with information. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a redefinition of our digital relationship. The future is bright, but it's a future that demands a collective effort to build trust. As users, let's embrace critical thinking as we partner with AI to understand the world. And to everyone shaping this landscape, let's foster transparency and accuracy. This has been Mindcast, and I'm Will, looking forward to exploring the next frontier of discovery with you.